The sisterhood has orchestrated the union of Duke Leto Atreides and one of the sisters, Jessica Neruz. She was raised by the Bene Gesserit as a breeding product, with her ancestry being a secret and for good reason, because it was later revealed that she is the biological daughter of Baron Harkonnen. For over 10,000 years, the Atreides and House Harkonnen have been locked in a bitter rivalry since the Battle of Corran, leading to the ascension of House Carino as the imperial authority after the war. This rivalry is one of the reasons why the sisterhood kept Jessica's lineage hidden, as House Atreides would have not accepted such a union. Leto would have probably submitted to the breeding program, but he wouldn't have loved Jessica or their child. According to the Bene Gesserit archives, her mother was Tenidia Neruz, who blackmailed and seduced the Baron to mate with her for the sole purpose of giving birth to a girl for the genetic program. In the extended version of Dune, it is revealed that the Bene Gesserit's sister Tenidia Neruz is actually Reverend Mother Gazalin Mohiam, which makes her Paul's maternal grandmother. This is an interesting twist, but is quite inconsistent with the canon, so this information is not accepted by everyone. Women affiliated with the Bene Gesserit have the ability to choose the sex of the child, so they plan to move forward with the breeding program, with Jessica giving birth to a daughter destined to mate with Phaedroth Harkonnen. This was the last step in the breeding program spanning over millennia, but Jessica believed that she is able to create the Kwisatz Haderach herself. Driven by her profound affection for Duke Leto, who wanted a son, she chose to give birth to a boy instead. She concealed the gender of the child until she was called to the imperial capital for childbirth. The birth was overseen by Lady Anral Carino, a significant figure within the Bene Gesserit and wife of Emperor Shaddam IV. Despite the unexpected discovery that the child was a boy, she insisted that Paul must live. During Jessica's labor, there were some alarming signs that an assassin had infiltrated the imperial palace, with Lady Anral deciding to find him. Tragically, she was mortally wounded in the confrontation, and Reverend Mother Mohiam managed to kill the assassin, who turned out to be a Harkonnen agent. Upon hearing the news, Duke Leto swiftly arrived on Khitan, and together with Jessica and Paul, they safely departed for Caladan. Growing up, Paul's personality was very much shaped by his father's influence on him, whom he loved and respected so much. Leto is known for being an honorable and loyal man, and just like Paul, his upbringing was influenced by his father, Paulus Atreides. He made him work with villagers and socialize with citizens and commoners, despite being a nobleman. Those things built his character early on, preparing him for becoming a duke at the young age of 16, when his father lost his life during a bullfighting event. Paul was raised on the water-abundant world of Caladan, the historic seat of House Atreides. Despite lacking friends his age, he had some tutors very close to him, including Duncan Idaho, Dr. Ue, Thufir Hawat, and Gurney Halleck. But his education extended beyond conventional bounds, with his mother teaching him the ways of the Bene Gesserit. Due to his genetics, he has the power of prescience, and from a young age, he started to experience visions and dreams. The spice at that time was a widespread product in the Empire, especially among the nobles, mainly because they could afford it. So as the son of the Duke, Paul always had access to spice melange, but only in small amounts, probably used in all foods and drinks. Not only does the spice improve the overall well-being and longevity of an individual, often increasing life expectancy by 3 times, but those small doses also influenced Paul's prescient dreams. When it comes to fighting skills, Warmaster Gurney Halleck and Swordmaster Duncan Idaho helped him to improve his combat prowess, teaching him hand-to-hand combat and military strategy. The teachings of those two complemented each other, with Duncan's style being based on precision and finesse, while Halleck was described as being more lethal, typically beating Duncan in a duel 6 times out of 10. During their last training session on Caladan, Gurney Halleck pushed Paul to the limits, emphasizing the importance of being ready for a fight when the necessity arises, not only when you feel like fighting. Even though he was trained throughout the years by great warriors, Paul was never in a situation where he had to fight for his life, all the training sessions being in a quite safe environment, using the shield for protection. He also learned from his mother Jessica what the Fremen call the Weirding Way, a Bene Gesserit technique that involves moving and striking with such a speed it almost gives the opponent the impression of teleportation. When Paul was around 12 years old, his father decided to solidify the alliance between House Atreides and House Ikaz with a political marriage, even though he already announced to the Imperium that Paul was his intended heir. The wedding ceremony was the onset of the War of Assassins, when the bride was killed by agents of House Mauritani. Caladan was on lockdown, with Duke Leto mobilizing his retaliation on Groomed, their home planet. During this time, Paul was left under Duncan Idaho's care at Castle Caladan, but they are soon attacked, prompting them to escape during the night with an ornithopter. They were relentlessly pursued across the dense forest, spanning the entire continent, but they managed to escape with the help of the primitives of Caladan. Here they learned of the Sisters in Isolation, a religious order of women residing in the dense forests of the eastern continent, where Paul eventually met for the first time his exiled grandmother, Lady Helena Atreides. The assassins found them and killed almost everyone, including his grandmother, but Paul and Duncan managed to escape into the dense jungle. The events had a profound effect on Paul, as he witnessed the harsh realities of war for the first time, altering his perspective on the world and making him acknowledge its inherent brutality. At the age of 15, the sisterhood decided it was time to determine if he should be allowed to live. Before his move to Arrakis, Reverend Mother Gazalin Mohiam arrives at the castle on Caladan to subject him to the Gom Jabbar Trial. She was Jessica's teacher at the Bene Gesserit school, and she's also the personal truthsayer of the Emperor, being able to tell when others lie or tell the truth, a critical skill in the world of politics. The test is quite simple. Paul has to put his hand into a nerve-inducing box and keep it there until the test is over. Meanwhile, the Reverend Mother holds at his neck the Gom Jabbar, a needle tipped with metacyanide poison. This poison is so strong it kills instantly.
A duke's son must know about poisons, the quick ones and the slow ones, and the ones in between. Here's a new one for you. The Gom Jabbar. It kills only animals. You've heard of animals chewing off a leg to escape a trap. There's an animal kind of trick. A human would remain in the trap, endure the pain, feigning death that he might kill the trapper and remove a threat to his kind.
This is a test of self-control, deciding someone's humanity through their ability to endure pain. An animal will unconsciously move away from the pain because of the survival instinct. It is this internal fight against the instinct for survival that determines if someone has enough control over their mind and body. Everyone trained in the way of the Bene Gesserit has to go through this trial because the sisterhood cannot afford to teach such powerful skills to selfish individuals without self-control. Putting his hand into the box, Paul starts to feel just a mild discomfort that builds up, and it continues until he feels excruciating agony. The sensation during the test is that of extreme heat, as though the hand is burning to ashes. Feeling the worst pain he has ever felt, he successfully passes the trial, with the Reverend Mother recognizing that no woman-child ever withstood that much. His success proves that he is human, and that he has the ability to control his immense potential. Following this, Paul shares with the Reverend Mother his prophetic dreams about a mysterious girl with blue eyes and his ability to detect when others tell the truth, further intensifying the belief that he might indeed be the one. He finally learns what Kwisatz Haderach means, and why it's so important for the sisterhood. During the Agony, a Bene Gesserit sister ingests the truthsayer drug, or the water of life used by the Fremen. This poisonous liquid would kill anyone unable to change its molecular structure upon ingestion, thus turning it into a harmless liquid. Once the sister navigates through this procedure with success, she unlocks the genetic memory of all female ancestors, leading to a sudden and immense accumulation of knowledge and abilities. This is frequently done by women during their trial of becoming a Reverend Mother, but no male has ever survived. This genetically gifted individual is prophesied to survive the Agony and go within the realm that all Reverend Mothers can sense but cannot enter. By gaining access to both male and female genetic memories, he transcends the confines of spatial and temporal boundaries. He can bridge space and time with prescient ability, seeing past, present, and countless potential paths into the future. Now that he is close to adulthood, Paul also learns from his father that his education was tailored towards shaping him into a Mentat. Leto knew that after his son takes his place and becomes the head of the Atreides, a Mentat Duke would wield significant influence within the Landsraad. Seeing the benefits of having such a powerful ability, he chooses to continue his Mentat training, adding another invaluable skill to his arsenal. With the newfound knowledge and a huge responsibility on his shoulders, Paul feels burdened by a significant sense of purpose. Deep down he knows that the move to the desert planet Arrakis is not going to be a pleasant experience, and he has no power to change that. Baron Harkonnen wants to see them all dead, scheming with the Emperor to trap them on Dune and launch an assault on the capital city Arrakis. He already knows that his father is going to die soon, but that will only mark the beginning of his journey.